What's up, you all? Welcome back to the third installment of It's Not Racism. Today's title is It's Not Racism, You're Just a Parasite. Now, I want to look into the definition of what a parasite is so we don't get offended. I want to take away the offense when I'm talking. A parasite is a noun, an organism that lives in or on an organism of another species, its host, and benefits by deriving nutrients at the other's expense. From the Greek word para, alongside, and then cetos is food. Greek parasitos, person eating at another's table. Hey, what's up, Kevin? What's up, man? I added your Christmas songs to my playlist, man. Y'all, that's y'all gotta follow I Am Kevin Tony, y'all. Great dude, great content. He got some great Christmas songs right now. I got them on my playlist right now. But parasite, the Greek origin word is parasitos, and that is a person eating at another's table. A person eating at another's tables. Now, you're going to say, Blanche, why would you say that Black people are parasites? I'm going to tell you. Everything that Black people do, the root of it stems from white people. I don't care if it's dancing. I don't care if it's food. I don't care what it is, an invention. The foundation of what a Black person does stems from what a white person does. So in other words, Black people have been eating at the white man's table this entire time. Now they're going to tell you that they were stolen and brought over here. Well, we know that's a lie. And we know it's a lie because African leaders have apologized publicly for selling slaves, African slaves. So the whole stolen narrative is a lie based on the horse's mouth in Africa, or maybe I should say the zebra's mouth. Based on the zebra's mouth in Africa, the African leaders came out and apologized for selling slaves. Nobody was stolen. I mentioned before in Ghana, you can go visit the slave castle and you can see the slaves walk right out to the ship. There was no coming in there around nobody. They was already in the what they call a castle or a fortress, already ready to go. So a parasite, parasitos in Greece, is eating at another's table. So everything that Black people do, you think Black folks created it, but they didn't. You can look at fashion, you look at anything, it's a variation of what white people have already established. Now, not one time have Black folks given white folks credit for any of this. So it's not racism, you're just parasitic. Leatherface said chitlins, mac and cheese, candy yam, spaghetti with sugar. But Black, we invented fried chicken. Bet y'all didn't. I bet y'all didn't invent fried. George Washington Carver, Black folks will make you believe that he invented the peanut. George Washington Carver had to be afforded a laboratory. He had to be afforded a resource to do everything with the peanut. Again, white people. but black, we want the first one to make collard green. But let's get into it. Let's get into it. Let's get into it. Let me get to 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 it. Just let me find. Is this it?
The wrapper on the original melatonin bottles, when they first put them out, they took this off of the label. And I'll read it. Melatonin is a protein constitution, I think that's the word, constitution of pineal tissue. So that means they had to crush the pineal gland to get this thing. Right. So we have the actual document here on the original ones. It's a constitution, it's real blurred, I can't really see it. Concentration, whatever this shit, I don't know, but it says pineal tissues. I got another clearer one that the brother sent me. And the reason why I got this was when I was in Indianapolis, the brother that Lilly Pharmaceutical.
So why would you pull out the blurry one and not the clear one? That don't make, like, why would you grab the, like, if you have a clear one, because you don't know what it says. If you have a clear one, why not pull it out? Why would you pull out the one you can't read? Brenda says black culture stemmed from redneck culture. 1,000% correct. What's that Thomas Sowell has a book I have? It's Black White Liberals and Black Rednecks, or is it Black Rednecks and White Liberals? One of the two. But Blackjack says because slavery at the time in Africa was just a form of incarceration, people who got enslaved were either prisoners of a war or criminals. They were viewed as rejects by those societies. So my question is, if I don't want to be a prisoner, what are you going to do to me? We're going to go ahead and just get rid of all this right now. If you capture somebody in war, and let's say they're a prisoner of war, let's say they are, and they tell you, I don't want to be a prisoner of war, what's going to happen? The person says, I don't want to be a prisoner of war, I want to be free. What's going to happen to them? Get their head knocked off. So this notion that they weren't slaves is cap. You are a slave. Because those that rebel, if you go to Ghana, I've been there, they put you in this room for X amount of days, you just die, let you starve to death. They was beating them. Listen, it was torturous. So again, this notion that they wasn't slaves was cap. Now, they may not have been working. They may not have been in a field working, but they was getting treated like slaves. I ain't talking about no prison where you get 3 hots in the cot. I'm talking about they getting treated like slaves. So they weren't just prisoners or rejects. They were treated like slaves. Brutality. They didn't play with them. So if somebody is a reject, they're not going to get treated humanely. If they're a prisoner of war or criminal, they're not going to get treated humanely. It's just not. I would venture to say they got treated worse than slaves. I want to be honest with you. They got treated worse than slaves. Yes, Thomas Sowell's book, Black Rednecks and White Liberals. But why wouldn't Bobby Hemmett pull out the clear paper? And where did he get this from? Somebody white.
Which is one of the biggest pharmaceutical companies in the world is in Indianapolis, Indiana. So the brother was able to get a couple of these things. You see what I'm saying?
Who? What's the company's name? What is the company's name? Who's the guy? You see what I mean? When you start sifting through the weeds, it's cap. It's all cap. Everything that Bobby Hemmett knows, he got it from somebody white. Everything that he knows dates back to somebody white writing something down.
This was a wrapper of the original melatonin bottles when they first put them out. They took this off of the label. And I'll read it. Melatonin is a protein constitution. I think that's the word. Constitution of pineal tissue. That means that.
And that one line shocks the crowd. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Let's look up melatonin bottles. Let's look up melatonin sold. Melatonin. Hold on, wait a minute. I'm tripping. Melatonin is the stuff that makes you go to sleep. Hold up. Am I tripping? Hold up. Melatonin is the stuff you take that makes you sleepy, makes you go to sleep. Am I tripping? Thank you, Star Baby. Am I tripping? Hold up. Let me stop. Hold up. I'm tripping. Hold up. Let me rewind this. Let me rewind it.
This was a wrapper of the original melatonin bottles when they first put them out. They took this off of the label. And I'll read it. Melatonin is a protein constitution. I think that's the word. Constitution of pineal tissue. That means they had to crush the pineal gland to get this thing. Original melatonin bottles. I think that's the word. Constitution of pineal tissue. That means they had to crush the pineal gland to get this thing. Right.
Top Herc, I didn't even see that, but I can look it up. So is melatonin made from pineal tissue? Let's see. Let's see if the bliggities have made our way to Google. Here, yep, they did. Let me see. Is melatonin made from pineal gland? Let's see. Okay, here we go. Melatonin production. The pineal gland, a small gland in the brain, produces melatonin in response to darkness. The pineal gland releases the most melatonin when it's dark and less when it's light. Melatonin is a hormone that helps regulate your sleep-wake cycle and circadian rhythm. Circadian rhythms, which are physical, mental, and behavioral changes that follow a 24-hour cycle. Melatonin levels are low during the day and increase at night, which is why it's sometimes called the sleep hormone. I guess maybe a better question is, how do you extract melatonin? Let me see. Might be a better question. How do you extract melatonin? Melatonin is primarily extracted through chemical synthesis rather than biological materials. This is because the chemical synthesis methods are safer and more efficient than the previous methods. Melatonin can be extracted from biological materials such as plants, algae, microorganisms using a solvent mixture that has a wide range of polarities. For example, a methanol, water, HC1 solvent mixture can be used to extract melatonin from cornelian cherry fruits. Okay, so melatonin is also produced in the body, in the pineal gland, and the retina, and in other organs and cells. The pineal gland is a small endocrine gland in the brain that produces melatonin, which is thought to contribute to most circulating levels of melatonin in the bloodstream. So they don't have to crush the pineal gland to get melatonin. They can get it from a variety of plants. They don't have to crush it.
So we have the actual document here on the original ones. It's the Constitution. It's real blurred. I can't really see it. Concentration, whatever this shit. I don't know, but it says pineal tissues. I got another clearer one that the brother sent me. And the reason why I got this when I was in Indianapolis, the brother that Lilly Pharmaceutical, which is one of the biggest pharmaceutical companies in the world, is in Indianapolis, Indiana. So the brother was able to get a couple of these things. You see what I'm saying?
I think he's talking about Eli Lilly, and I think they are based in Indianapolis. So he's talking about, this was at Eli Lilly and Company. He said a guy that works there got the original melatonin bottle wrapper, but it's capped. So they can get melatonin from a lot of different sources. And again, if you all have this special thing called melatonin or melanin or whatever, then why can't you all build any more pyramids? If you all have if you all have all of these things, you have the melanin, you have the ethos, the ether, you got the melanin, the melatonin, you got the DNA, you got the God gene, you got the hair like wool, antenna, you got hair like antennas. You got all this stuff in you, but you can't build a pyramid. So this is why I call cap, because if black folks really had an advantage like this, if black folks had an advantage where something that they were born with put them on God level, how would they be behaving? How do you think black folks would be behaving if they actually had a God gene in them and they were superhuman, doing supernatural? Black folks would be flying. Black folks would be tearing the whole world up. Black folks would have been formed the Unjustice League. Black folks would have been terrorizing. Could you imagine if black folks could fly with superhuman strength? Black folks would be terrorizing the world. Come on. Why we acting brand new? If all this stuff was real, black folk would be tearing up the planet. I said it. I said it.
Went on the Breakfast Club with Charlemagne Dagard. Biden said, if you don't vote for me, you're not black. I didn't see anything wrong with what Biden said. In 2008, 93% of blacks in the history of America voted for Barack Obama and repeated that in 2012. And they vote Democrat all the time. No matter how bad a candidate is, they will vote for that person. So what is Biden saying? Simply, he's just talking about what is a trend in this country. Or for Charlemagne, who is black, to say, I don't know anything about that. I'm just here asking for something for my people. You think the Jews in this country will go to the White House and say, hey, we are here this morning. We're just asking for something for our people. You think the Arab community in Dearborn, Michigan will go to the White House or meet a political candidate and say, we're just asking, begging for something for our people? Or do you think the Asian communities of Japanese or Koreans or Chinese would meet a political candidate and say, hey, we're just asking for something, anything you can give us? No, they will have a clear agenda. Charlemagne reduced the entire society of black people in this country to something. I am asking for something for my people.
That is Frank Zanu. Now, again, Somebody in the comments, name is Pharaoh Zozier, so you know he's obligatory. He says, this is not a conversation you should be having if you're not well educated on the topics. Well, the people that are well educated, for some reason, can't manifest what they're talking about. All these folks can tell you about the pineal gland and the melanin and the carbon and the ether and the ethos and the powers and the DNA and the God and the hair-like antenna. These folks can tell you all this stuff, yet none of it can manifest into the physical to actually build something. If you all have so much information, so much knowledge, and so much power, then why are y'all complaining about being oppressed? Y'all have every advantage known in the history of humanity. You all have all the advantages, but yet you all are last on a totem pole. So just explain it to me like I'm 5 years old. How is it that you all have every gift from God? In fact, you all call yourselves God. So how is it that the gods on the earth are hollering about they're oppressed? And if you tell me what the white man did, that means you are inferior to the white man. So give me a reason without bringing up the white man, almighty Pharaoh Zozier. Well, I think Pharaoh Zozier left. I think he left, y'all. Here we go. So instead of answering my question, he says it. Now you'll notice this is why black people lose in court so much. Because black folks are so emotional. You saw it with Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris didn't answer a single question, and she got 88% of the black vote. Think about that. Think about Kamala Harris doing interview after interview, concert after concert, speaking engagement after speaking engagement, sermon after sermon. She didn't answer one question and got 88% of the black vote. The reason why black folks lose in court so much is because black people are going to court trying to escape punishment and not trying to win the case. So when I ask Pharaoh Zozier a question, he doesn't answer it. What he does is he says he believes his existence is only because of white supremacy. And guess what? Who said that? Nobody. Remember what I said? Black folks lie. He just told a lie. Nobody said that. Nobody said that black folks' existence was because of white people. I said that the Greek word of parasite is parasitos, which is eating at someone else's table. I didn't say existence. Another thing that black folks don't listen well either, because they're so eager to run their mouth. They have very poor hearing, very poor contextual skills, very emotional. They don't like answering questions, and they lie. So I'm going to ask him again. Pharaoh Zozier, if black people have all of the gifts, so many gifts to where they are gods on the earth, then explain to me why they are saying they are oppressed. Never in the history of gods has any god ever been oppressed. Isn't it ironic that the Chinese gods never been oppressed? The Hispanic gods never been oppressed. Native American gods never been oppressed. The only gods that have been oppressed are the black ones. Ain't that funny? The Greeks, Zeus and them ain't oppressed. There is no other gods that are oppressed except the black ones. So Pharaoh Zozier, help me out. Explain to me how black people are gods on the earth, but they are still saying they are oppressed. Explain it to me, like I'm 5. Top Herc said, Blanche, I thought about it today, but do black liberals talk about white supremacy over Thanksgiving turkey and Christmas dinner? Yeah, they do. Black folks talk about all this stuff while they celebrating the white holidays. I told you it's not racism. You're just a parasite. That was just Frank Zanu talking about what Charlemagne the God did. And he said Charlemagne the God reduced an entire nation of black people to just wanting something. My DIL, daughter-in-law is working tomorrow 2 till 4. Man, we done ran Pharaoh up out of here, man. Listen, y'all. This man is a Pharaoh. How did I make the mighty Pharaoh leave the chat? Let's continue.
Stops us has been what's been ingrained in us. And you're absolutely right. When one generation teaches another generation, teaches another generation, teaches another generation, that's how we have racism that it still exists on this planet. That's how we have the hatred that we have existing on this planet right now. Because one generation tells another generation, don't want to let it go.
Yeah.
It is time. And I will agree with you 100%.
Yeah.
It's time for us as the African American community to stop saying that we can't.
That's correct.
So I can already tell by the tone of Montel Williams.
What stops us has been what's been ingrained in us. And you're absolutely right. When one generation teaches another generation, teaches another generation, teaches another generation, that's how we have racism that it still exists on this planet.
And this is what's funny, right? This is what's funny. You can survey most white people and they're going to say, we are not racist. And then what will be the response of black people? Yes, you are. So how can you even determine who's racist based on what? What is your measuring stick? How are black people determining who's racist? What are they basing it off of? Because what I've heard is, they were out in the open, now it's hidden. Then I heard, okay, well, it's just the judges and the police officers. Now I heard, it's just microaggressions. Pretty soon it's going to be just a thought. Look how it got watered down. Now we're at the microaggressions level, and then pretty soon they're going to be saying, I can tell he had a racist thought. Your thought process is racist. Montel Williams has done what less than 1% of the population of the entire planet's history has done. He had his own show on television. And this man is talking about racism, talking about his taught. It's not taught. It's not taught. It's cap. I guarantee everybody around Montel Williams is white. So if it's taught and it's passed down and it's so racist, then why are y'all so comfortable marrying, having children with, and being around white people all the time? Your lawyers are Jewish or white. Your accountants are Jewish or white. Anybody, the person that sold your house was probably white. Everything you do is with non-black people. So then my question is, how are you saying that all these folks are racist when you do everything with them up until marry them and have children with them? It's crazy. It's a lie. So again, you can't tell me all of this race talk, but then your entire circle is non-black. We're not doing that. It doesn't make any sense. I've gained the majority of my white friends that I know from social media, not real life. The majority of people around me are obligaties. Everywhere. And then I got somebody calling me. Then I got somebody with a non-black spouse, biracial children, all friends non-black, calling me a sellout. Even Pamela says he's married to a white woman. I bet he was. I know. Come on, man. You see, most interracial relationships are had between liberals, because a conservative woman of any other race is not going to be. She's not going to marry or even date the average black guy. She's not going to do it. Not because he's black, but because they don't line up culturally, politically. That's why when you see most interracial couples with a black man, the woman's a liberal. I said most, not all.
What stops us has been what's been ingrained in us. And you're absolutely right. When one generation teaches another generation, teaches another generation, teaches another generation, that's how we have racism that still exists on this planet. That's how we have the hatred that we have existing on this planet right now. Because one generation tells another generation, don't want to let it go.
Yeah.
Let me ask y'all a question. Hate black people for what? Think about it. For what? Anytime we've seen hate, it's always because the person hated the person because of something that they envied of the person. Even the term hating means somebody is hating on you because they can't do what you do, they aren't who you are, or they don't have what you have. So even the term hating is because the group of people that you're looking at or person you're looking at, you want to have, you want to either have or be where they are. So my question is, if that is true, then who was hating on black people? For what? For what? Ask yourself, hate on black people for what? For what? What are black people doing that's making people hate them? Tell me. I mean, besides the obvious destroying the world, I mean, besides that, what things that are positive that black folks are doing that are making people hate them? Somebody please tell me. Other groups are hated in the world because they have some type of power. They run something, they own something, they do something. So my question is, all the other groups, if they are hated, they're hated for an actual reason. So my question is, why are black people hated? All I see is folks pandering to black people. That's all I see is pandering. I don't see hate. I see constantly pandering. Okay, what's wrong now? Blackjack said the obligations would say they hate on our swag. Okay, they want your swag. Okay. Hate on y'all for what?
Yeah.
It is time, and I will agree with you 100%.
Yeah.
It's time for us as the African American community to stop saying that
Yes.
we can't.
That's correct.
I'm upset that Frank Zanu had to subject himself to Montel Williams' bliggity rants. It is beneath Frank Zanu to do so. It is beneath him. It is beneath him. It is beneath him. But let's continue.
On 833, State of Indiana versus John Anderson. Ms. Anderson, for the record, would you state your full name, please?
Yes, I am Princess Calethea Hatan Tupape II, representing the entity Dejon Anderson.
You're known as Dejon Anderson.
I'm representing the entity of Dejon Anderson.
Your date of birth?
My date of birth is February 2nd, 1961.
That would make you how old?
That'll make me 63 years old.
And the last four digits, your social security number?
I do not have a social security number. I have a declaration of nationality underneath the Washita Moors of the Indigenous People of the United Nations, Chapter 221593.
Do you have a good contact telephone number?
I don't know my contact number by heart. I believe it's...
Are you under the influence of any drugs, including alcohol today?
No, I'm not.
Now, this clip went viral, and I'm gonna tell you what it says. So, and again, most oftentimes when you see bliggity content on social media, you look at the post and you look at the comments, it's confusion. It's utter confusion and chaos. This young lady right here, she murdered her 5-year-old son. This is what, and she went on the run and they caught her. I want to say that she murdered him and put him in a suitcase, left him on the side of the road. And then she had a friend that knew about it, and her friend got in trouble too. But that's what she did. And so, but this clip of her, you know, the bliggities like this, you know, all this Morris talk, sovereign citizen, I'm representing the entity, all this stuff. And then they see 63 years old, you know, black don't crack. So the comments are just all over the place. And a few folks, they're like, listen, she murdered her son, 5 years old. Now, this is a prime example of how black people are deceived because they are parasitic, meaning they'll latch on to something, even if it's a lie. This woman is a murderer and she's a criminal. But when she's talking to the judge, you believe because she's talking to a judge and spitting out some mumbo jumbo that she's a righteous woman, that she's really a queen and that she's letting them know who she is cap. This story of this woman is horrific. It's a horrific story. She killed her son with no remorse. None. But that little speech she gave has gone viral, and you just go to the comments. Go to the comments.
F1 833, State of Indiana versus John Anderson. Ms. Anderson, for the record, would you state your full name, please?
Yes, I am Princess Calethea Hatan Tupape II, representing the entity Dejon Anderson.
You're known as Dejon Anderson.
I'm representing the entity of Dejon Anderson.
Your date of birth?
My date of birth is February 2nd, 1961.
That would make you how old?
That'll make me 63 years old.
And the last four digits, your social security number?
I do not have a social security number. I have a declaration of nationality underneath the Washita Moors of the Indigenous People of the United Nations, Chapter 221593.
Do you have a good contact telephone number?
I don't know my contact number by heart. I believe it's...
Are you under the influence of any drugs, including alcohol today?
No, I'm not.
Dejon Anderson's murder trial delayed. Judge threatens contempt of court for any new irrelevant motions. Now she's trying to stall. What they do, they get in court, they start stalling I'm not leaving. Give me 1 second. We'll put her picture up. That's all. Deja Anderson's murder trial delayed. Judge threatens contempt of court for any new irrelevant motions. Judge Larry Medlock said Dejanay Anderson's dozens of motions since April appear to be founded upon conspiracy theories and no relevant legal facts. Now, keep in mind, she murdered her son, and she's trying to avoid punishment. I told you, when black folks go to court, they're trying to avoid punishment. They're not trying to win the case. Now, an Indiana judge is no longer tolerating dozens of irrelevant motions from the woman accused of killing her 5-year-old son and leaving his body inside a suitcase in rural southern Indiana. Dejanay Anderson's, Cairo Jordan's mother, is charged with murder, neglect of a dependent, and obstruction of justice in the young boy's death. I looked at the story. I don't remember the motive. I remember her telling her friend that she filed a $31 million lawsuit. I got to look into it. I don't remember a clear motive. Remember, her friend was talking about that she did it, but she didn't really give a motive as to why she did it. But again, I'm going to say this. We are at the time now where all of this, these seeds that you all have been planting, all this propaganda, all this programming, repeating these lies, believing these lies, this stuff is going to come to a head. You should have seen since 2020, all of this stuff is coming to a head. You would have thought that the millions of black people would have not fought against the Great Reset. Your mind couldn't even have fathomed that almost every single black leader was pro the globalist agenda, the Great Reset. Every celebrity, every the pastors, you never would have thought this. But we're here. We are at a time where the majority of black people are already giving way to Satan. The majority. And when I say majority, I mean 90+%. We've seen it during the Peter pandemic. We've seen it when they voted for Biden. We've seen it when they tried to vote for Kamala. We've seen the homicide rates. We've seen the abortion rates. We've seen obesity. We've seen STD. We done seen all of it. Children can't read, write, do math on grade level. We done seen it. So this stuff's gonna come to a head. It's like a pot that's boiling. It's gonna come to a head. So I'm telling you, all of this Marxist and communist rhetoric not only is it anti-God, but it's also a gateway to demons, to demonic possession. You think Satan gonna do something and not have control and access to you? It is a gateway to demonic possession. How do we know this? Because you all open yourselves up with all these chants, all these sayings. No justice, no peace. We shall overcome one day. I have a dream. Should have been called I have a scheme. Black Lives Matter. All these sayings, all this imagery, all this rhetoric, all these rituals, all these marching. That George Floyd situation was an entire ritual. And I knew when Kobe Bryant died, my spirit says something ain't right. My spirit started sounding like Key Sweat. Something, 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 something just ain't right. It just ain't right. But when Kobe died in 2020, I said something just felt off with the whole thing. And ever since then, it ain't been right. It ain't been right since. I'm not saying it was Kobe's death. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying since his death, it ain't been right. Your CBD girl said Kobe worshiped witchcraft. He probably did. He probably did. You know, most guys that are that focused on a craft, they're pretty much not going to believe in God because they're getting so many results from what they're doing. They're not going to believe in God. Let's continue.
Necessary to go forth and see that they're changed, to see that the system is changed, to see that capitalism and exploitation of black people, capitalism and exploitation of even poor whites. I can't go into no poor white community talking, but you can. You can. Explain to them that laws are made by mankind in any society, anywhere. They are made by mankind to serve mankind, and once those laws stop serving mankind, those laws have to be changed.
Let me see. Let me see if it's yeah. So before Kobe, P. Damick said P. D'Amico and Pamela said he had went to church. Yes, he visited Our Lady Queen of Angels Catholic Church in Newport Beach, California, early Sunday morning ahead of the 7 a.m. Mass, according to Father Steve Salat. So, yeah, he did go to church. He did go to church. And it said that Kobe prayed and he received communion.
Then it's necessary to go forth and see that they're changed, to see that the system is changed, to see that capitalism and exploitation of black people, capitalism and exploitation of even poor whites. I can't go into no poor white community talking, but you can. You can. Explain to them that laws are made by mankind in any society, anywhere. They are made by mankind to serve mankind, and once those laws stop serving mankind, those laws have to be changed.
Now, Bobby Seale sounds so tough, but he was getting drilled by Huey Newton. Bobby Seale sounds so tough, but he was getting drilled by Huey P. Newton. And the P stand for punish. Bobby Seals is so tough, but he was getting drilled by Huey P. Newton, and the P stand for penetrate. Bobby Seals is sounding so tough, but he was getting drilled by Huey P. Newton, and the P stands for pump. That's crazy. Let me stop, man. Let me stop. Let me stop, man. Let me stop. Oh my goodness. Oh man, let me stop. Yeah, somebody said, yeah, he was the first black Punisher. All right, let's continue.
Two statements about capitalism to show how backward it is. About America. America is a capitalist country. It's thoroughly capitalist. It's an imperialist country. But we could say that, number one, America is the most technologically advanced country in the world. And that's an undeniable fact. It's a truism. It's a truism. America is the...
See, and another problem is this. Black folks have been able to just talk for so long, like I've said this before, that when they're speaking, it's assumed they're telling the truth. That's why Bobby Seals is like, you assume that Kwame Ture is telling the truth. You just assume it. There's already a set prescribed subconscious programming that makes you believe that when a black person is in front of a microphone talking, they are telling the truth. That's automatically. But the programming knows when to not listen to a black person telling the truth. So in other words, that subconscious programming is really geared towards the lies. Like once the person starts telling the truth, it kicks in to shut them out, cut them off and tune them out.
Most scientifically developed country in the world. And right under that, we could say a second fact, which will show you how backward America is. We could say that America, in 1945, made for her people better cars than she does in 1973. And if you analyze this, you'll see how vicious the system is, because here's America with its great technological skills, its great scientific ability, and rather than making a safe car for people that will last 20 years, which they can do with the scientific knowledge that's at their fingertip, they rather take this knowledge and build a car which will break down every 2 years, so you're forced to buy another car. Thus, you see, under capitalism, what they do is they take their scientific skills, and rather than using it for the benefit of the people, they use it to further exploit the people. And certainly this type of system is too backward.
Okay, so again, let's dissect what he said. Let's just dissect what he says.
We could make two statements about capitalism to show how backward it is. About America. America is a capitalist country. It's thoroughly capitalist. It's an imperialist country. But we could say that, number one, America is the...
This term capitalism is very disgusting. But so what if it is? The sunglasses he has on, capitalism. The suit that he's wearing, capitalism. The microphone he's using, capitalism. The barber that cut his hair, capitalism. Everything about this man's existence is capitalism. The camera that's filming him, capitalism. The producer, capitalism. The director, capitalism. The staff, everything about this man's entire life is capitalism. Think about that. There is nothing that he's doing that is exempt from capitalism. Nothing. So he's condemning something that he is 100% entrenched in and benefiting off of. Because without capitalism, there's no camera. There's no microphone. There's no suit. There's no sunglasses. You know what it is? It's a hut in Africa somewhere in the middle of nowhere, sticking your face in a cow's butt. That's what it is. Without capitalism, you in Africa somewhere, walk out of a hut, your morning routine is to wake up and stick your butt, your face in a cow's butt to make the cow fart so you can get the lice out your eyes. I don't know. It's all kind of crazy stuff they be doing, but I'm just saying. So you wouldn't dare live like that. He wouldn't dare live in an African village somewhere where he wakes up and washes his face in a cow's anus. He wouldn't dare live like that.
Most technologically advanced country in the world. And that's an undeniable fact. It's a truism. It's a truism. America is the most scientifically developed country in the world. And right under that, we could say a second fact, which will show you how backward America is. We could say that America, in 1945, made for her people better cars than she does in 1973. And if you analyze this, you'll see how vicious the system is, because here's America with its great technological skills, its great scientific ability, and rather than making a safe car for people that will last 20 years, which they can do with the scientific knowledge that's at their fingertip, they rather take this knowledge and build a car which will break down every 2 years, so you're forced to buy another car. Thus, you see,
there are cars from the 1960s and 70s still on the road. Starved Baby said, including his bank account, exactly. There are cars. What I've experienced with vehicles is one thing. If you take care of your car, it will take care of you. The main reason people's cars fail is because of poor maintenance on the vehicle. That's why most cars fail. If you take care of your car, it is going to take care of you. Simple. But like with anything, the high mileage on a car, it just is what it is. Now, you know, Hondas and Toyotas, those are the exceptions in the field. But American cars weren't really built for efficiency. They were built for performance. There's a whole culture attached to American cars. There ain't no culture attached to Honda and Toyota. It's not. We got things called muscle cars. We got cars that are etched in our culture in America. The Dukes of Hazzard car, Knight Rider. There's cars in America associated with TV shows. The American automotive industry is a whole different beast than anywhere else in the world. And I will still say, if you take care of your vehicle, it's going to take care of you. You look at most people's cars that break down, ask them go talk to the mechanic. I just saw a guy the other day. He had just bought an Audi A7. Just bought it. Pulled in, had it towed, not pulled in, had it towed to the shop. He was so ashamed, he didn't want to tell these folks what he did. Brand new car, Audi A7. I know it's six figures. I know it's six figures. Oh, my bad. It ain't six figures. My bad. But listen, base model price is $72,000. $72,000. That's base model price. So if he got any kind of bells and whistles on it, you already know. But ran over, I don't know what he ran over, but when I tell you axle, I'm talking about the whole left side of the car it was horrible. And again, if you take care of your car, it's going to take care of you. Well, most of the Audi's engines, most Audi engines are Volkswagen engines. You can find them Volkswagen engines in Audis and in some Porsches. And in some Porsches. But why isn't Kwame Ture talking about, instead of you all wanting to disrupt the system, why don't y'all make your own? Why doesn't he produce a car that's efficient? Notice that his solution is never to compete with white people. His solution is to destroy or take from white people. Parasitic. Notice that none of these black activists ever want to compete with white people. They never want to say, okay, y'all making bad cars, we're going to make some good cars. His solution is to destroy and take. And everything in his life, from his suits to his sunglasses, to his haircuts, to his jewelry, to the microphone, to the studio, to the camera, to the producer and the director, to his car, to his house, and as Star Baby say, even his bank account, everything about his existence is capitalism. But he's trying to convince you that he's against it.
Under capitalism, what they do is they take their scientific skills, and rather than using it for the benefit of the people, they use it to further exploit the people. And certainly this type of system is too backward.
Let's continue. Let's continue.
We, the so-called minority in this country, are in trouble. But the country may be doomed. The Western world, in any case, is certainly doomed. Because the economic system, which is responsible for our presence in this park, and responsible for the deaths, in so many ways, of so many black boys and girls, the greed that rules this country, the indifference to human life which rules this country, is something that the world cannot afford. And what the world cannot afford, the world has always found a way to get rid of. We are talking about the end of a kingdom, the end of a way of thought, the end of a certain sense of reality. But it is important to remember that whereas we may be minority legally in this country, we are majority in the world. And between now and the year 2000, which is only 20 years, we must find a way to forge the links which will save us all over the world.
Click the link in the bio to get the book.
So again, that's James Baldwin. So Kwame Ture is, I want to go to his death. Somebody asked, was he still alive? His real name is Stokely Carmichael. But he was diagnosed with prostate cancer in 1996. So he was born in 1941. He died in 1996. Can somebody do the math real quick? I don't know. Let me see. $65 years old. No, how did I get that? 57 years old. 57 years old. He died in 1998 of prostate cancer. And he said that his cancer was given, he said, cancer was given to me by forces of American imperialism and others who conspired with them. Let me go to this article real quick. They won't never let me read it. They want you to pay for something. I'm not paying for nothing. I'm not creating an account with y'all or nothing. I'm trying to find this quote. And we already established that all of this communism and Marxism is going to end up destroying you because it's anti-God. These folks never have a good end. They never have a good end. It's always a bad end. I can't find the quote. Black power, he said, can only be realized when there exists a unified socialist Africa. He sounded the idea that blacks must work with blacks for the cultural, economic, and political liberation. So again, even in his death, he was speaking this, which further put him in the pits of damnation. Right, my prostate cancer from American imperialism is insane. No telling what Carmichael was doing. Mr. Carmichael was doing. Yeah, my bad. He was diagnosed in 96 and then he died in 98 from prostate cancer. No telling what he was doing though. Listen to James Baldwin again. And back to Bobby Hemmett in the beginning. I don't believe anything Bobby Hemmett said. I just don't. These people, because he said before that black folks are like children. So that means that he already knows that when he's speaking to black people, he already has an advantage. For him to say that black folks are like children, that means he already knows he has an intellectual advantage over black folks. So I don't trust what he says. I don't.
We, the so-called minority in this country, are in trouble. But the country may be doomed. The Western world, in any case, is certainly doomed. Because the economic system which is responsible for our presence in this park and responsible for the deaths in so many ways of so many black boys and girls, the greed that rules this country, the indifference to human life which rules this country, is something that the world cannot afford. And what the world cannot afford, the world has always found a way to get rid of.
Look at Lil look at Lil House, not Lil House on the Prairie, Lil House in the Ghetto. This is 1980. Now, he's saying that he said what the world, he said that what the world can afford, it has found a way to get rid of. Think about that. Think about him saying what the world can afford, it has found a way to get rid of. Based on what? What can't the world afford? What can't the world afford?
Something that the world cannot afford. And what the world cannot afford, the world has always found a way to get rid of.
This woman got a whole Little House on the Prairie outfit. Do you see this? She got a whole, she like some of a TV show from the 80s. She got a whole Little House on the Prairie outfit. Little black school marm.
We are talking about the end of a kingdom, the end of a way of thought, the end of a certain sense of reality. But it is important to remember that whereas we may be minority legally in this country, we are majority in the world. And
I'm like, black folks just cheering. They don't even know what this man even saying. They just cheering. They just.
Between now and the year 2000, which is only 20 years, we must find a way to forge the links which will save us all over the world.
Click the link.
So we in 2024, Mr. Baldwin, we're 44 years from your speech, and none of that you said has happened. None of that what you have said has happened. None of it. But again, James Baldwin is not talking about competing. He is talking about being a parasite. It's parasitic.
I see this characterization of socialist politics as sort of WPS or white people stuff. And that characterization was always really interesting to me because there is such a long history of black radical politics. So I wonder what your journey was like into socialism, and what do you think that people get wrong about socialism?
Funnily enough, I realized I was a socialist thinking about slavery in the shower, actually just doing my deepest philosophical thinking, but just thinking, oh, black people were the capital. That's capitalism. You put a price tag on things or people that are not supposed to have a price tag.
Right.
So whether that's people or that's healthcare or housing, these are things that are rights, that you can't quantify them. And I started just thinking through that, the connections between racism and capitalism, and saying, okay, you can't dismantle racism without undermining the capitalist system. In the shower, actually, just
about socialism.
Funnily enough,
I think something that is more deadlier than a nuclear weapon is a black man having time to think in the shower. What will come to his mind, we all should be afraid of. There's a saying that says an idle mind is the devil's playground. This man just said he was in the shower, supposed to be washing his body, but he's thinking about white people. Your most at peace time of the day should be when you're in the shower or in the bathtub. That's when all your cares and worries should be washed away. You should be able to relax. He is in the shower reenacting a scene from Roots, and he has an epiphany. His epiphany is that black people were capital, there we have capitalism. And that capitalism extends to healthcare and housing. And then so his epiphany is that you can't destroy racism without destroying capitalism. Again, these people will never, ever, ever talk about competing. They will never, ever talk about creating their own. Never. They will only talk about destroying or taking from white people. That is all they will do. And the reason why he had that epiphany is because he does the will of Satan. So Satan put that idea in his head. Because a righteous man would have been in the shower trying to clean himself up, getting prepared for the next day, trying to see what he needs to accomplish, what he didn't accomplish, trying to see if he met his goals. If you're really a man of purpose and a man that is focused and you're a God-fearing man, you don't have time to worry about nonsense like slaves hundreds of years ago being capital, as if there aren't slaves today. They never use an example of today. Why? Because all of the countries where the slaves are, the people have color. In other words, they're not white. There is no slavery going on in Western countries. All the slavery is taking place in the non-Western countries, i.e., where the white folks ain't at.
Realized I was a socialist thinking about slavery in the shower, actually just doing my deepest philosophical thinking, but just thinking, oh, black.
What woman would date a man like this? And he may even be LGBTQ. But what woman, like how, like, ladies in the chat, are y'all attracted to him? I'm just asking, like, could you see yourself? Is it possible? I'm trying to figure it out. Rise, baby, Rise said, too zesty for my taste. Miss Hecker said, no. Anna Valisa, not at all. Tierra Barnes, weak beta. Proverbs 31, no. Goddess Navi, no. Celeste, no. Pamela, no. Your CBD girl, no. Tierra, no. Like, so my question is, I respect y'all. So is it safe to say that no respectable woman would date this guy? Maybe that should be my statement. Like, no respectable woman would date this guy. This is crazy. Like, even the story he's telling is like weak.
People were the capital. That's capitalism. You put a price tag on things or people that are not supposed to have a price tag.
Right.
So that's people, or that's healthcare, or housing. And these are things that are rights. You know, that you can't quantify them. And I started just thinking through that, the connections between racism and capitalism.
This man. Okay, let me ask you a question. Whose job is it to go out there and find shelter? Whose job is it? It's the man. Listen, a huge problem of this parasitic behavior is the fact that the men don't have any purpose. So if the men are saying we want to take and not build, the women don't stand a chance and the children don't either. Like, it's a losing battle. If the men make up in their mind that they're either going to take or destroy, then how can black folks make it? They can't. How did y'all go from supposedly building pyramids to now you want housing vouchers? Where are we at? Y'all done went from building pyramids to Section 8.
Saying, okay, you can't dismantle racism without undermining the capitalist system.
And I always find it interesting. They talk about capitalism, but my question is, who can get the money then? The money gonna go to somebody. The money is going to go to somebody. Who's going to get the money? Who's going to get the money?
We have to spend the last dime in our treasury and use the last bullet in our arsenal to protect the black woman.
Thank
if
you.
you see a black woman getting assaulted, like, not to help her, anything less than helping her is uncivilized.
Yes.
And we need to get on code. You know what I mean? Like, if other races of people know, yo, it's a cardinal sin, and you may not go home tonight to your mother, to your wife, or your children, if you put your hand on a black woman, like, if we set that precedent, the world will know.
Okay, first things first. Right, Jessica girl. Housing is a human right, and you have the right to go out there and make sure you have a house. You're right. Housing is a human right as long as you are willing to work for the house. See, that's the caveat. Your human rights are contingent upon how much you're willing to work. That's so the rights y'all claim y'all have, they're conditional, meaning that if you're willing to go out there to be fruitful and multiply, to replenish the earth and subdue it, then guess what? You qualify for the human rights. But if you want to be a degenerate, a person with a person with no purpose, you want to leech off society and be parasitic, well, now you're not a human no more. Now you a parasite. You can't display parasitic behavior, but then say I got human rights. You got the same rights as parasites have. When the host dies, the parasite either moves on or dies with the host. So the first thing that stands out is the 3D Africa hat. It's a 3D gold Africa on his hat. Now, there's a different level of decadence when you have Africa on your hat when it's just stitched in versus it being 3D raised off the cap. The 3D raised off the cap Africa is a whole other different level of decadence. I sent this to somebody. We were talking about this, and we were talking, and she said, you know, you don't have to do all of that. All you got to do is just be a good man. Think about his solution to the problem versus him just being a good man. She said, all you got to do is be a good man. And then I was like, the fact that he hasn't even touched on being a man of character tells you everything. The fact that he hasn't said a man needs to have good character, a man needs to lead by example, a man needs to guide, provide, and assume all the responsibility. The fact that he ain't said none of that lets you know he's a liar and a crook. You ain't got to do all this. You ain't got to threaten nobody. You ain't got to make no empty threats. You ain't got to let the world know. See, the problem is that these black men want to go out there and show this virtue signal. We're going to go fight the police for black women. That's one time. That's one day. How about you be in a child's life for their whole life? That's years. That's decades. What he's saying is cowardly. It's cowardly. Be a good man. Be a man of character and of honor. If you black men had honor and character, the police wouldn't have to be around. There'd be no need for the police. These same black women y'all claim to want to protect are the same ones y'all terrorize. Go look at the statistics. The number one threat to a black woman is a black man, not the police. These are facts. The number 2 cause of death for black women ages 1 through 19 is homicide. Guess who's killing them? Black men. So he got so much smoke for the police, but not the millions of black men he looks at every day. He want to hold the police accountable, but not his fellow brothers that surround him every day. He's a coward. And what he's saying is cowardly.
We have to spend the last dime in our treasury and use the last bullet in our arsenal to protect the black woman. If you see a black woman assaulted, like not to help her, anything less than helping her is uncivilized. And we need to get on code. You know what I mean? Like if
anytime you hear that term on code, all on code means is do the will of Satan. All on code means is I'm going to please consent and agree to doing the will of Satan. This guy just said we got to spend the last dime in the treasury and the last bullet in the arsenal to protect black women. No, you don't. Just be a good man. That's all. Hold yourself accountable first. Hold yourself accountable first. Nothing about this man tells me he ain't terrorized black women. Nothing. Nothing about this man tells me he has not terrorized black women.
Other races of people know, yo, it's a cardinal sin, and you may not go home tonight to your mother, to your wife, or your children if you put your hand on a black woman. Like, if we set that precedent, the world will know.
Patrick Chai said the compensatory code was written entirely from a standpoint of oppression. That is 1,000% correct. You got to stay on code, meaning you got to repeat these lies. You got to not hold anybody black accountable in front of white people. You got to do all kind of stuff. It is utter foolishness. But again, his solution is parasitic because his solution is fighting white people. Even in his solution for the black community, he still has to go back to the white man. Think about what he's saying. His solution is to protect black women. His reason is we got to protect black women. His solution is protect them from the white man. And everybody knows the number one person terrorizing black women is the black man. That is a statistical fact. That is a statistical fact. Let me hold on one second. Let me go back. Where is let me see something. Hold up. Here we go. Here we go.
Guests have been flabbered. I'm walking in Kroger. I see this white man. We're both minding our business. He's a little bit older and we're about to cross, so I pause so that he can pass. He stops me and he says, "Your hair is beautiful." Thank you. Okay. Then he hands me a card. I'm like, maybe this white man owns a natural hair salon? I don't know. I look at the card. First, look at the front. I'm gonna put a picture of the back. This man carries black women hype up cards.
The card says, God's gift to the world is the amazing beauty. God's gift to the world is the amazing beauty in its women of color. Thanks for sharing that gift with us.
I'm shocked.
So I want you to pay attention why she's flabbergasted. Because a white man told her that her hair was beautiful, that means that it's real. So even when it comes to compliments, it's still parasitic, because the compliments that are seem to be the truest are the ones coming from white people. Okay, let's just.
My guests have been flabbered. I'm walking in Kroger. I see this white man. We're both minding our business. He's a little bit older, and we're about to cross, so I pause so that he can pass. He stops me, and he says, "Your hair is beautiful." Thank you. Okay. Then.
This is sad. Leatherface said, so he lied about her hair. So now, again, I'm not one of these people that just because it's somebody black looking pitiful, I'm going to say it looks good. I'm going to say this. I'm not. She look a hot mess. I'm sorry. So you can say, and the guy saw her looking a hot mess, and he was like, let me cheer her up. I'm actually glad he did it, because she may have been on the brink of something tragic. And I'm glad he did cheer her up, but she looked a hot mess. I'm sorry. And so I'm not one of these people that just lie. You know, if it looks good, it looks good. I'm not going to base it on color, race, none of that. If it look good, it looks good. If it don't, it don't. And every hairstyle doesn't look good for every person. There are certain hairstyles that look better on other people and some that don't. You know. You know, but look at her excitement, though.
My guests have been flabbered. I'm walking in Kroger. I see this white man. We're both minding our business. He's a little bit older, and we're about to cross, so I pause so that he can pass. He stops me, and he says, "Your hair is beautiful." Thank you. Okay. Then he hands me a card. I'm like, maybe this white man owns a natural hair salon? I don't know. I look at the card. First, look at the front. I'm gonna put a picture of the back.
God's gift to the world is the amazing beauty in its women of color. Thanks for sharing that gift with us. So this card, and what's sad is, do you realize how much power white libtards have over black people? Like, this man went and got some cars made at Kinko's and just handing them out. Do you know how many black women he probably got to be with, got to go out with? Do you know how many black women gave him the draws from this card? Do you know how much power? Nothing. Remember when I said that a black man's idle mind is the equivalent to a nuclear weapon being launched? The other nuclear weapon is a white liberal with a card that says that black women are God's gift to the world. That card, you got, deuce of diamonds, you got deuce of spades, you got big joker, little joker, but you got Gambit has some cards, you got the black card, you got the EBT card, you got some famous cards in the floating around. Ain't nothing more powerful than a card held by a white liberal telling black women they're God's gift to the world. That card right there is priceless. It's priceless. I was laughing at some Leatherface put earlier. I ain't gonna repeat it though. I ain't gonna put it on here.
This man carries black women hype up cards. I'm shocked.
That man's card. I'm talking about so much power and so much control over the bliggity just by virtue signal. I got 2 more videos and I gotta go. And y'all gotta go.
Okay, so it's gonna be really noisy, but I feel like I gotta tell y'all this. And maybe I'll continue to talk about it later, you know? It's going in the other direction, I think.
I think this woman is absolutely nuts. She's insane. She used to be in the bliggity low budget films with Tyler Perry and all them, but I think she's nuts. But just listen to what she said. I think she's crazy though. Man.
But y'all, the Holy Spirit pierced my heart this morning with this.
Now, her name is Lisa Arundel. She's an actress. Now, she said the Holy Spirit pierced my heart this morning. So I'm going to rewind it a little bit, let her talk. And you tell me if it was the Holy Spirit or if it was Satan.
But y'all, the Holy Spirit pierced my heart this morning with this. That the people chose Barabbas, the criminal, over Jesus. When Pilate asked the people, when he shouted out to them from his seat of power, who do you want me to deliver out of the hands of bondage? Who do you want me to set free? Shall I set Jesus free or shall I set Barabbas free? The people, the masses, chose Barabbas. You are exactly what God had in mind. My train is here, but we'll keep talking. I'm gonna keep talking about it because it blew me away. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Exactly what God had in mind. That's you.
So who do you think she was talking about? Who in her scenario was Jesus and who in her scenario is Barabbas? Who in her scenario is Jesus and who in her scenario is Barabbas? This is Lisa Arundel. Thank you, Blackjack. And Mountain Woman said it too. Trump and Kamala. So the Holy Spirit told her that the people didn't choose Kamala, Jesus. They chose Barabbas, Trump. The Holy Spirit told her this. I'm going to play the beginning again so you can see her eyes.
Okay, so it's going to be really noisy, but I feel like I got to tell y'all this. And maybe I'll continue to talk about it later, you know? It's going in the other direction, I think. But y'all, the Holy Spirit.
She's absolutely insane. She's absolutely insane. She was a great actress. You saw her eyes though, right? All over the place. Just, you know why? Because that's when the spirit is taking over. That's that demon. because she's getting ready to lie. She's getting ready to blaspheme. She's getting ready to blaspheme against the Holy Spirit. Look at her eyes. The demon took over.
Okay, so it's going to be really noisy, but I feel like I got to tell y'all this, and maybe I'll continue to talk about it later, you know? It's going in the other direction, I think. But y'all, the Holy Spirit pierced my heart this morning with this, that the people chose Barabbas.
This is what somebody, now we know she jabbed up and all that, but so that's, so she got the demon and alien in there doing tag team wrestling. But this is what happens. If you watch people, what she was saying is really blasphemous, what she's saying. And before she starts to say it, it's almost like, you remember in the Matrix when the agents would hop in somebody's body and the person would be talking and they would start going like, and then they would become the agent. It's kind of like the same thing. She started looking around, started trying to, it's again, confusion. Oh, the train's going this way, train going that way. That way the demon can take over. This is why God's not the author of confusion. She immediately starts looking around, being confused. The demon can take hold of the wheel. And she looks drained. She does, a goddess. She looks tired. She looks exhausted. She looks exhausted. They'd be like, and then they become the agent. You know how they do. Y'all done seen the Matrix. But even in her divine revelation, who she take it back to? Pontius Pilate, white man. Donald Trump, Parasite. Everything that black people are doing, it has to come from white. The only reason black created, was to be in opposition to white. That's the only reason. It has no other purpose, clearly besides destruction and damnation. But that's what it's for. It's just to be in opposition to white. And if we get technical, it's just to be in opposition to God. That's all. But I can tell with her, she probably fights a little bit, see, with her, it's probably not all the time. Like people like James Baldwin, they already taken over. There's no, they can talk, eyes dead. But with her, I think she probably still struggles a little bit. She still goes back and forth. Top Herc said, Blast, why didn't black folks copy good parenting? What you're going to find is what black people copy truly is decadence. White people do all kinds of positive things throughout the world. White people establish safe communities. They get married. They believe in God. They help. They feed the poor. They help the needy. Like white people do a lot of good stuff in the world. And black folks erase all of that to focus on some white folks doing something dastardly and evil. And most of the time, that's even a lie. All the good that Donald Trump has done for America, all the good things he's actually done, they overshadow all of it with 34 felony convictions. Think about it. Everything he's done is reduced to 34 felony convictions. Convicted felon, convicted felon. That's all they care about. And that's why the Biden administration weaponized the DOJ. They did it because they know that's all the libtards and bliggities need. It's just a label that can stick. The racism thing couldn't stick. Fascism can't stick. But if we get them in court, that can stick. That's why they did it. And just the girl said, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. So most people don't fear God. That's why they don't have any wisdom. The beginning of wisdom is fearing the Lord. Knowing that God is who God is, that's your first class. That's wisdom 101. That's your first day in class. Fear the Lord. This ain't your third semester, your second year. This is the first day of wisdom class is fear the Lord. Most people don't even make it out of the first day of wisdom class. They don't fear the Lord. This is it, and I'm done. So y'all gotta start. Hope y'all have started y'all cooking already. What's today's date? Because here we go. I'm sorry.
This is followed by Ruben Lago versus Nico Peace.
And new, baby. And new.
This is followed by Ruben Lago versus Nico Peace.
And new, baby. And new.
So these young ladies are about to prepare for a fight. And just so you can see it.
This is followed by Ruben Lago versus Nico Peace.
So as you can see, they have two tattoos. The Caucasian lady appears to have a tattoo with red, green, yellow, and blue with something written underneath it. And the queen over here has a big Africa on the side of her tattoo with a BBL. So she has a BBL and an Africa tattoo and a weave. So she has the trifecta going. Lace front, BBL, and Africa tattoo.
This is followed by Ruben Lago versus Nico Peace.
And new, baby. And new.
So she said her name, I knew, baby, I knew. So let's see what happened. So now in this fight, the advantage should go. The advantage should go to the queen because she has the melanin, she has the African pride, she has the lace front, she has the black girl magic. She has it all. She got the BBL, she got everything. She got the stuff from the ether, and she got the man-made stuff. So she got everything working for her. This is the queen versus what y'all call a Karen or Becky. So let's see the results. Let's see what happened. Let's see what happened. Now, I want you to look behind, and the queen is over there. She didn't answer the bell, so she quit. Now, I thought with all that melanin and all that BBL juice, she was going to be able, with all the ancestors, because my mind is thinking the ancestors should have told her how to beat this white girl. They should have told her weakness, because she got the Africa tattoo. So she's dedicated to the ancestors. She got the Africa tattoo on her thigh, BBL. She got all the melanin. She a queen. She got it all. But let's watch it again. Thank you, Cruise Missile, for the super stick. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Always supporting. Listen, that kick was devastating. Rena Bina, thank you so much. Hey, Blanche and chat. Happy Thanksgiving loves. Thank you so much. Thank you, Rena Bina. Star Baby, have a blessed meal tomorrow, Blanchard. Moderators and super chatters, we have much to be thankful for. We dodged the nuclear war on the 5th. Thank you so much, Star Baby. Thank you all. Thank you so much. You have a blessed day tomorrow as well. Let's play this again. When she kicked her to the ground like that, she knew it was real, because she'd never been kicked in her solar plex and hit she never felt that before. Now she done been hit, probably domestic violence, hit by a dude, probably done been fought, scratched, all that, but she ain't never maybe even been stabbed, cigarette burns, but she had never been kicked to the ground like that. That never happened to her. Vintage Goods Willie, the black man is God. A goddamn fool. Vintage Goods Willie, thank you so much. Boy, there's never been a truer quote. There's never been a truer quote than what Vintage Goods Willie just said on the screen right now. Thank you so much. Mano 1135, it's always a pleasure watching your lives, brother. I'm stationed overseas. I usually miss the show. Mano, thank you so much for tuning in overseas. I really appreciate it, man. Thank you for your support. Thank you. Yeah, but that kick that she experienced, she never felt that before. She never felt that. It was those kicks. Those kicks coming with such velocity, she can't block the kicks. She can't block the kicks. Now see what she believed was she's going to be able to intimidate this white girl, make her scared. She saw her, she's skinny. Girl, you thick. You're going to be able to beat her. You're going to be able to manhandle her. Girl, you bigger than her. You stronger than her. She ain't got nothing. You a queen. So I know how they pumped her up. I know what they told her. Let's continue.
Opponent did not answer the bell, which means you're a winner.
Now look at her corner. Look at these guys behind. Look at her corner. Look at her corner. Hold on. Look at her corner. No. She didn't answer the bell, which means she got defeated by the mighty, what was that lady's name? Xena, the princess warrior. What was the lady? Was it Xena? The princess warrior? I gotta go, y'all. Was it Xena? She got beat by Xena, the princess warrior. The warrior princess, Xena. Yeah. She got beat by her. I wish I could show y'all on Instagram, y'all. I wish I could show y'all. But she got the brakes beat off of her. Thank you, Blackjack. But listen, y'all.
Your winner by TKO.
So again, listen, I love y'all. I want y'all to have a blessed Thanksgiving. And yeah, have a blessed Thanksgiving. Hope I keep y'all too late. Hope y'all food's already prepared for tomorrow. Hope y'all be around family and friends, people that love y'all. Hope y'all ain't got to argue with them about politics. Hope y'all haven't been disowned by your family because of your political views. Anyway, I love y'all. Wish you have a blessed Thanksgiving. Thank you, Agonis Nabi, for moderating tonight. Thank you, Paul, Tiana, Maestro, Janan, Tierra, Pamela, Blackjack, Kenya, Annalisa, Just a Girl, Silky the Global Man, Pamela, G. John, Proverbs 31 Woman, Top Herc, Mr. Demare, everybody that gave the super chats, super stickers. I love y'all. Instagram, thank y'all so much. Biblically Sound, what's up? Miss Heckert, happy Thanksgiving to you too. Millie Source, happy Thanksgiving. Listen, I love y'all. Tish, love y'all. And I will see y'all on Saturday. All right, y'all be blessed.